Hello everybody, welcome to this video, a sort of lap guide for the dynamic GT League drivers in the F3500A. As you'll notice, I've got my little camera on over here to show a couple of things. Now this is my tyre data. Basically, it's got all the data that I need anyway, fuel in laps, laps remaining, fuel consumption, all that stuff. And what you really want you to keep an eye on is the tyre indicators. So these are grey at the moment. When the tyres warm up, they will become green. If they get too hot, they will go red. And that's a key point. So, a couple of bits of information about this circuit. Number one, you cannot attack this track. It will just kill your tyres, and you'll probably find that you haven't got the grip that you really want. So yeah, you cannot attack this track, but I'll show you that. Okay, it is possible to do a one-stop race in this car with these tyres, but if you push the tyres too much, you're going to burn the front left tyre up. You're not going to get through a 15-minute stint. Now, few key places to look after the tyre is turn 3, the big long left-hander, turn 9, the over the crest hill left-hander, sorry, right-hander, and that's a right-hander as well, and then the last two corners. But it's easy for me to just say, oh, just look after the tyres there, but how do you do that? Well, you can try a few things yourself, but when we did a bit of practice around here, and when I say me, I mean the admin, so that we could get the tyre wear sorted out, I had like 60% tyre wear gone on the front left, whereas Steve F1, SRI and SGP had about 10% gone, right? So that is something that tells us, okay, the tyre wear isn't an issue, the driver is. So I had to find out where I was killing the tyre. And it was the long right-hander and turn 9 and the last couple of corners. Now, this isn't going to make much sense, but for turn 3, I was taking it in 4th gear and going through it fairly quick, and I thought not hurting the tyres much. However, in my attempt to reduce my tyre wear, I went through the corner in in 3rd gear instead. And interestingly, what that did up here was my front left tyre was getting to about 85 degrees in temperature, which is alright. But when I then was doing it in 4th gear, it was going above 85 degrees in temperature. And so it was hurting the tyre, because I was hurting the tyre in this corner. You might not be able to see the track map on the screen here, but hurting it there, getting the temperature up, it then meant the temperature was high for this corner, and then for the S's, and then when I got to turn 9 and I was trying to take that corner too quick as well, it was basically a knock-on effect, and that's why I had more than double the tyre wear of the others. Now I know I'm waffling on a bit here, but this is because this is kind of key information. So for turn 3, hold 3rd gear. Now, it doesn't mean you can just go in 3rd gear and thrash it round. No. What I found was, and hopefully you'll be able to see this on the screen when I'm driving, is going around turn 3, as I'm steering, if my left hand gets to 12 o'clock, I'm steering too much, and it'll increase the temperature, even if I am in 3rd gear. So, for turn 3, no more than 11 o'clock hand position for the left hand, and if you are running wide, you've got to lift off the throttle, don't steer more. Now hopefully as we drive round, you'll be able to see me doing this, and also the temperatures up here and what they do. Now for turn 9, I'm used to being able to really attack it, but you can't, okay? So it's a nice early lift off. I think it's 3rd gear again, but be patient on the way in. And again, as little amount of steering as possible. So we're going to go and do some laps here, and the last 2 corners, nowhere near flat out, but again, if you kind of cruise it into the corner, it's a lot faster and easier to get out of it without hurting the tyres. Okay, so up here, if we see any of these go red, we're killing the tyres. It's too high a temperature. Okay, shouldn't happen, but let's go. Braking points, very, very important. And hopefully I will try and explain that as we drive around. Okay, let's go. Let's go. Now, if I'm shouting, it's because I can't hear myself. Okay, so you should be able to see that it's a little bit green up there now. Now, when you're coming out of the pits, I would say braking point is around about the end of the AstroTurf. Okay, so third gear. Don't be afraid of just hovering it like this until we're much later around the corner. We're braking way before the bridge. Again, you'll see me trying to not push the steering too much. You can take this corner in second gear or first. Now this corner, enter it in, actually no, sorry, it can be done in third. So on fresh tyres it can be done in third, but if you brake too late you won't make it. Now here, we lift off, we downshift and we're patient, and then we get on the throttle gently with very little steering. 100 metres is the very, very latest you can brake. So I'd brake about 110. Don't get on the throttle too soon, gentle with it. Still be gentle with it here, because you can easily wheel spin it. Now, if you get it slowed down nice enough, you'd actually go up to third, and we'll do a nice big lift off, and then we're barely having to steer. Dab a brake. I've gone down to third there, we'll see if we can do it in fourth. Okay, front left temperature is on 72. It's going to cool down a little bit. Be careful of the bumpy road. Brake at the black marker on the wall, third gear. Don't be aggressive here. Temperature didn't go above 74. Now the general temperature should be around about like 80, 82. So although we've not got up to above 74 there, the temperature as a baseline should be higher. Okay, brake about 10 metres before the start of the curb and get the steering straightened up. Big lift, third gear, I'm off throttle on the way in. If you hear the tyres squealing, you're perhaps steering a bit too much or going a bit too fast. Not full throttle, because if you do, you do that. And that was in third gear. Okay, so again, we can do a big lift off and actually short shift it to fourth. Dab a brake, fourth. Okay, temperature's only at 77, so we're okay for temperature at the moment. So, black mark on the fence. I mean, I think it's a light, but it does go by as a bit of a blur. So this may seem very slow, but it's very good for the tyre. And if you're in dirty air, you may struggle for grip there. Don't be too eager on the way in. Get it up to third. Again, not full throttle in second until I'm going straight. Oh, I got down too many gears. Be careful of being too eager on the throttle. Turned in a bit too soon. But you'll notice I'm very much off throttle a lot on the way into that corner. Brake to touch late. Patient around here. Get it up to fourth this time. Lift it off to get it to turn in. So we can get up to fifth. Little dab of brakes back to fourth. Temperature on the front left is still only 78 there. Bit of a slow lap though. Let's see if we can concentrate a bit more here. Temperature to 79. Now that may seem very slow, but it isn't. Right, up to fourth, lift off, and then it's very gentle turning. Up to fifth, little dab of brakes, I've missed steep turning a bit. Temperature went up to 82, 83, went a bit yellow. Okay, so there's a decent lap. Let's see what happens now if we do use the fourth gear through turn 3. I'm having to steer more, 90 degrees. Okay, I'm just looking at my braking point for the chicane there. I'll mention it on the next lap. I would definitely not recommend braking late for the hairpin. If you are behind a car, you are going to need to brake earlier because you're not going to have the grip. Okay, let's see what happens to the temperatures if we push it a bit around these last 2 corners. 87, 112, and I'm wide. So a little more aggression hasn't made it faster or good for the tyre. So the tyre temperature's a little higher now. So let's see if we can keep it down in 3rd gear. 83 still. Massive difference, and now I've got grip. Good temperature for this corner. Okay, braking point for the chicane coming up is the end of the curb on the right by this green Astro. Or so after, you know, I'm going to go back there. Right, so it's where the service road is. Yeah, okay, so braking point is here, and that allows you then to be able to take this corner 3rd gear. Now there is a couple of corners I haven't given a braking point for, and that's because they're not necessarily easy. Let's see, turn 5. Okay. So, as you'll have noticed, around these last couple of corners, I am using a very small amount of steering, and it comes from having that lift off just allows the car to turn in. Now, I've got up to about 94 degrees there, it's higher than I would want, but if I did want to push it a little bit through the corner, you can a little, but you don't really want to get that temperature up in the hundreds. Bigger lift because I'm slightly offline. Hardly any steering, hardly any tyre temp. Braking point for this one, very difficult. Okay, I have just spotted something. There's a black light on the fence on the left hand side. Now I'm not saying that that is what I'm using, but when that is going out of the screen, is around about the point that I am on the brakes. Okay, 80 degrees still, tyre temperature's good. Okay, Okay, for the final corner, I'm dabbing the brake around about the start of the yellow curb. You probably could go with a lift off, but it may not slow down enough. Degrees still. Now I'll try and show the braking point for that corner in a minute, but okay, so on the left hand side of the fence, just there, black light, use that as that's going out the screen as a braking point for me anyway. Brake at the end of the curb on the right. So by the end of the curb on the left there, I'm already off throttle, ready to turn in. I've already got it eased off. Okay, I'm going to go for a silly push lap now, just so you can see what those temperatures will do and what it'll do for the grip. Look at how much more steering I needed there. Oh, big curb. Now I'm going to do turn 3 in third gear, but I'm going to push the steering. See, I'm at 12 and I'm just going wider. Temperature was way up, went wider. I've got to show the brake point for that corner. I'll do it at the end of the lap. Car's twitchy as hell. So the more steering input I'm putting in, the less grip I'm getting here. Can't do it in third, it's too late, haven't got the grip. Loads of steering angle, temperature. I'm half a second faster, but I'm killing the tyres. Woo. I'm not half a second faster anymore. Too much curb. So a very aggressive lap there. It's still faster, but I have absolutely annihilated the tyres, and the temperature's already at 88 degrees, which means starting this lap, I'm not going to have the grip. 120 degrees. So yeah, horrible. Right, braking point. It's very difficult to see stationary. You see this band of tyre marks here? Around about the start of it is what I'm using, which if we look around, okay, it's about 100 metres. So 100 metre marker board for that corner. Now, I know this has been a bit of a long video, this is 20 minutes, but I actually think that this hopefully will have given you the best data I could ever show you. Because when that goes red, it doesn't matter if you're going faster on your lap times, it ain't going to last very long. Because as the core temperature, when I was doing nice laps, was 80 degrees, as soon as I did one push lap, that core temperature was 87 degrees, which is already too hot. And if I then would have done another lap, that core temperature would have been even higher, so it might have been 89 degrees, which again is too much. So it just gets worse and worse and worse. And this is why sometimes, for example, Critical, when he would say, like, get a few laps in, oh, my grip's gone, it's because you're pushing the car too hard. You can do it for 1, maybe 2 laps, but then the grip isn't there for you. It might even be 4 laps, because you got 1 lap of warming the tyre up, another lap of the car being okay on temperature, then you're over temperature, and you might get away with it, but then you're way over temperature and you ain't going to get away with it. Now, it took me a while in an F1 car to get around this track, this F1 car anyway, because I'm used to F1 cars being able to go comfortably flat out through turn 3 and just watching out for the steering, not being way off the throttle and watching out for the steering. And turn 9, it's normally flat out in a modern F1 car. In this, it's nowhere near. And don't forget, guys, with the dirty air, it is gonna be tough. And genuinely, I highly recommend, even though I didn't do it then, I do highly recommend going much closer to the full aero package on this particular track, especially if you're going to be in the pack, because you're going to need that rear end grip. Okay, that's it for this one. Have a good one. I'll see you all again soon.